Hey there, boys and girls. So I got to watch Sound of Freedom late yesterday, which officially it debuts today, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. So, The Sound of Freedom, starring Jim Caviezel, it's a true story about a guy who, I guess he worked for the Department of Homeland Security, and he went around. I gotta watch what I say. The YouTube algorithm is gonna ruin this, but catching child predators, and so, but U.S. child predators. So he was catching like people consuming online content, not the actual kids so much. And so early in the film, it kind of just really quickly like brushes over his motivation to actually change over and try to possibly rescue children instead of just catch the people consuming content, because they're kind of the small fish, in the big pond. So overall, so there's some things here that you've got to mention. The acting in this film is like absolutely top notch. Could not be better. It is unbelievably good acting, including the children. I don't know how they pull that off. Child actors are notoriously terrible actors. No disrespect, it's just the way it is. Very hard to find children that can act, and once you find one child that can act, that child is like in everything for like 2 years, right? Like Macaulay Culkin, the Sixth Sense kid, what was his name? Haley Joel Osment, and Dakota Fanning. You get these kids that are like good at acting and can cry on command. They end up doing like 5 films in like 2 years, right? And then they fall off the face of the earth, and you don't hear from them again unless it's like indie films. But anyway, so they've got like all these child actors in this film, and a couple more important roles than others, but they're like really really good, like the child actors. So either the director was really patient, or the child actors really made an effort, and it's probably a combination of both. So this film is like absolutely an A plus acted film, 100%. Does not get better. um, and then you go on, you have the story itself. So I would say if there's one gripe, the story probably gets a little slow in the middle. But then it's still a good, compelling, intriguing film. I noticed that on some of the theaters have it listed as an action film, and I think that that's probably uh, not an action film. I would say. I'm going to move my camera. Probably not an action film. Yeah, I'm bracket this film. It's a drama with some suspense, and so I would not consider it an action film. And so I saw that listed as an action film in multiple places, so that's a mistake. They're just doing that to try to get a little bit more money, and they didn't probably know that the film was going to be as big as it is, which brings me to my next point. This film, the theater, I went to book it for a theater, and there was only front row spots left in that theater. So I switched to a different theater where they don't assign you seats. And so I switched to that theater where you just have to get in early enough to make sure you get a good spot. And instead, that theater was 90% packed, give or take. So the first theater probably ended up selling out. It only had like 4 or 5 seats left total, and they were all in the front. So this one was a much larger theater, had a lot more seats, and still it was only a few seats in the front left by the time the movie was playing. So this movie's going to make some money, at least on the premiere, the early premiere, and then the actual premiere. Hopefully that carries over. It should have good word of mouth because it is definitely a good film, compelling, interesting. Everybody that was there had said about how this is a film that everybody should watch, and I think for multiple reasons. You wouldn't say that if the film wasn't good, and then at the same time, you probably wouldn't say that if like it wasn't something that was important, an important story for people to kind of realize how hard life can be for some people out there. So yeah, absolutely great film. Highly recommend it. See it in theaters too, definitely. And I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. I won't go into any spoilers. That's it. So that's where I'm stopping. Have a good day. Thank you.